All right, let's take a look at elements, compounds, molecules, and mixtures. So elements are found in the periodic table. So something like this. This is the periodic table that you'll find in your GCSE exams. So you are provided the periodic table in your exams. So the elements are found in the periodic table, and it's made up of the same type of atoms. So one type of atom will make up elements. So we have oxygen, fluorine, neon, boron, carbon. These are all elements, and these are all made up. So each nitrogen will be made of one type of nitrogen atom. Oxygen, the element oxygen is made up of one type of oxygen atom. So that's elements. So elements are found in the periodic table. Now this is when it starts to get a bit confusing. We have compounds, molecules, and mixtures. Now we all know what these sort of are, but we don't exactly know what the difference is between them. So that's the part that I find difficult to understand as well. So I'll try to explain that in today's video. So we have molecules. Now what exactly are molecules? Molecules are when two or more atoms are chemically joined together. Two or more atoms. And we have compounds. Now compounds and molecules are very similar to each other. Compounds are two or more different atoms. So up to here it's the same, and even the atom is the same. But the keyword is different. And these both are chemically joined together. So they're chemically bonded. So molecules are two or more atoms that are chemically joined together, and compounds are two or more different atoms that are chemically joined together. So what do these two or more atoms and two or more different atoms mean? Two or more atoms means so as aforementioned, oxygen is made up of one type of oxygen atom, right? So two or more atoms just means more than one oxygen atom. For example, O2, that's a molecule. Or what else is there? There's O2, there's Cl, chlorine. One Cl atom isn't a molecule because it's not two or more. But Cl2 is a molecule because it contains two or more. Or there's nitrogen, N2. N wouldn't be a molecule, but N2, when you have two nitrogen atoms, that's a molecule because there's two or more atoms. Now, compounds are two or more different atoms. So these three do not classify as compounds. They're not compounds because they don't contain two or more different atoms. So what do these two or more different atoms mean? You're supposed to have two or more different elements. So as aforementioned, these elements are made up of atoms, right? So you need two or more different atoms. For example, we have CO2. Quite similar to O2, right? But now we also have a carbon atom. This is called carbon dioxide, CO2. We have carbon and oxygen atoms. So this is a compound. Or we have H2O. We not only have oxygen, we also have hydrogen. That is a compound. If theoretically we could have just CO or HO, this would also classify as a compound. You just need to have at least two or more different atoms. So these do classify as compounds. Now the thing is, molecules are just two or more atoms, right? So these also classify as molecules. So what does this mean? All compounds also classify as molecules because compounds contain two or more different atoms. They at least contain two atoms, right? So it is also a molecule. But molecules only contain, so it's like the minimum requirement for molecules is to have two or more atoms. So the minimum requirement doesn't satisfy the needs for compounds because you need two or more different atoms. So in summary, molecules are two or more atoms, such as oxygen, chlorine, or nitrogen, O2, Cl2, and N2. The important thing to note is that it has to be O2, minimum of O2. So O3 would also classify as a molecule, but it doesn't classify as a compound because it's not two or more different. So you need at least two atoms, and compounds are two or more different atoms. For example, carbon and oxygen, and hydrogen and oxygen. and both molecules and compounds are chemically joined together. So that means to break up the forces and to return them to their original elemental form, we need to have a chemical reaction take place to break the chemical bonds, to put them back into its elements, just carbon or oxygen. To do that, you need to have a chemical reaction. What are mixtures then? Mixtures are completely different to molecules and compounds. It's kind of like what you think when you hear the word mixture. You have a mixture of bread and you have a mixture of flour and water. That's a mixture, right? So mixtures are just what you think of the word mixture. It's just two or more substances. Now the easy thing about this is both compounds, molecules, and mixtures, they're all two or more. So you just need at least two or more. Two or more substances. And the key thing is they are not chemically joined together. So in molecules and compounds, these elements, oxygen and chlorine, 2 oxygen atoms are chemically joined together. 2 nitrogen atoms are chemically joined together. 3 oxygen atoms are chemically joined together. In these compounds, one carbon and 2 oxygen atoms are chemically joined together, and so on and so forth. So mixtures is 2 or more substances that are not chemically joined together. It's basically like what you can do in your house without needing some special tools. So it's like a mixture of salt water. Salt water is a mixture because it's a mixture of salt and water, right? Or sand water, a mixture of sand and water, right? And the key thing about mixtures is they can be physically separated. Can be separated physically through physical means. So what does it mean by physical means? So it means like filtration. By using a filter paper, you can filter out the sand, right? Or chromatography. You can filter out the different colors. Chromatography. You can filter out the different colors in your pen ink, right? Or distillation. You can boil your liquid, and to separate the different liquids based on their boiling points, you can separate them through distillation, right? You can't separate molecules or compounds through these physical means. You have to do a chemical reaction. In future videos, we'll dive deeper into these separation methods for mixtures. So, let's do a little bit of summary. Molecules are 2 or more atoms chemically joined together. Compounds are 2 or more different atoms chemically joined together. And mixtures are 2 or more substances that are not chemically joined together. So something that you can do in your own house. Salt water or sand water, etc. I was thinking of a way to easily memorize this and to make it quite, easy to understand. And I came up with this. I don't know if you guys will understand this, but let me just tell you. So molecules are like the low-tier, cheap living area. Okay, let me get a new page. So, there's a living area. This is like the hood neighborhood. It's like the suburbs. And this is where the molecules live. So this is the molecule residential area. So it's the cheap residential area with run-down buildings. It's the hood. It's where the molecules live. It's a cheap living area. It's the basic. It's the least nice one. It's the worst housing area. And you can move up to the exclusive compound. Now this compound is exclusive to humans. So you can move up to this nice villa community. And this compound is exclusive to humans. So, moles, 2 or more moles. You guys all know the animal moles, right? So I can't draw, but imagine this is a mole. So these moles, if 2 moles are friends, they can move in together and live here. But if these moles want to move up to the nice compound, you need at least 1 mole, and you need to have a human join you. Both of these moles could decide, so it could be 3 moles, 2 moles and a human, or 1 mole and a human, but you need at least 1 mole and a human. And if you have 2 different animals joining together, you're allowed to move into the compound where humans live. And once you move into the compound, so before when you live in the hood area, right, you have to be chemically joined together. So once you move into the hood, you guys get chemically joined together. So these 2 are chemically bonded. So then these guys must also come together, right? So these are chemically bonded, and once you move into the compound, you're also chemically bonded with the human there. So once you're chemically bonded, you're allowed to live in the compound zone. Once you gain access to the compound zone, you can move freely to the hood zone. Because the hood zone, the default requirement is just 2. So as long as you have at least 2 people, you're allowed to move into the hood zone freely. I don't know if this makes sense, but I just try to make it. And the mixtures, what are mixtures then? Well, mixtures are just the lowest tier housing with everybody mixed together. It's like the care home or something. I don't know. So mixtures are 2 or more substances that are not chemically combined together, and they can be separated through physical methods such as filtration or chromatography, such as oil and water, or salt and water, and standard water. I hope this is a bit of a nice intro to compounds, molecules, and mixtures. And in the coming videos, we'll look at separation methods to separate mixtures, like chromatography or filtration. Thanks for watching this one.